Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on the upcoming transit of planet Mars, which on May 10th will transit the sign of Cancer, and from May 10th till June 30th, it's going to be transiting in the Cancer sign. So guys, the general interpretation of this transit is that we all know that this is a sign of Mars's debilitation, but in certain cases I have seen even this placement of Mars to be manifesting good results, because as you know that first of all Cancer is ruled by the planet Moon, which is a very good friends with the planet Mars. Second thing is that Moon or Cancer is a very sensitive, very fragile, very empathetic energy. So unless and until this placement is not falling in your 8th house, over and above that your chart is already very accident prone, then this could be a matter of concern for you. Or let's say for example, if this transit is taking place in your 6th house and you're already going through fights at your workplace or any of the concerns of credit or like a debt related issue, then this could be a matter of concern for you. But in certain cases guys, this is a kind of a typical transit where this combined energy of Mars in the Cancer can actually make people very concerned and protective towards their well-wishers. In certain cases, this is also a kind of placement where people actually manifest and display a lot of strong tenaciousness, strong determination, willpower. You will hardly find these people to be very headstrong. Like rather in certain cases or in extreme cases, it has been found that they might trouble themselves with not being able to vent out their frustration in a right way, but they will rarely harm other people. So yes guys, definitely a lot is dependent on that how Mars is placed in the D9 chart and how overall chart is supporting this placement. But in general guys, if I were to say, only in the matters of your emotions, your feelings, venting out your emotions, releasing it out in a right way, not freaking other people out with the erratic emotional outburst. In certain cases, even this transit of Mars in the Cancer holds this potential to manifest good results, something which we will try to understand in this video. So yes guys, I have already mentioned you the dates that from May 10th till June 30th, Mars is going to be transiting in this sign. And the good part over here is that during this time, it is not coming in the scrutiny or under the malefic influence of any other planet, like the way, because Saturn is not expecting it. Along with that, Rahu and Ketu are also not gonna be influencing it. The only concern is that a major period of time it is going to be conjunct with Venus as well. So like the way I already mentioned this thing, that Mars in the Cancer has got a lot to do with the inner turmoil of your emotions, of your passion, and erratic outburst of that. So conjunction of Mars and Venus might create a upheaval in your passion, in your feelings, acting out very touchy, or not being able to channelize your emotions, your feelings in a right way. But in majority of the cases, even this position hold this key to manifest good results. So okay guys, now we will look at that customized to all the lagnas, how this transit is going to be influencing all of us. So guys, starting first with the Aries lagna natives. So definitely guys, in your case it is the transit of your ascendant lord. So that in itself means that you guys are going to be strongly getting influenced with this transit. Now guys, in your case, the way other planets are influencing you, I'm not seeing you guys very vulnerable. Your 10th house, 11th house lord is in a strengthened state. Jupiter is already transiting in your 1st house. The only concern is that if right now during this time, if the major concerns of your life are somehow hovering around the matters of the 4th house, like you are already planning to buy a property, or you have tenants at your place and you're already going through some fights or some dispute with them, any of the concerns of renovation at the home front and all. So over there, like when we talk about the material signification of the 4th house, over there I would say that if your ongoing dashas are not running favorable, so you have to be a little bit cautious and careful. Also guys, this is a kind of a typical transit of Mars, because in any case Rahu is right now transiting in your 1st house. Over and above that, 4th house also tells about our inner emotional state. Rahu in itself is a planet of fears and insecurities. So yes, on inner emotional way as well, this could kind of create fears, insecurities, restlessness, erratic response to your emotions. This is how this transit can influence you. And also guys, when we talk about the other aspects of the planet Mars, so specifically for your business and your material growth point of view, if it is not chiefly connected only with the 4th house related matters, the point which I'm trying to say over here is that because both the Mars with its 4th aspect is going to be looking at your 7th house, which is a prime house of your commercial activities. With its 7th aspect, it is going to be looking at your 10th house, which is the house of your professional endeavors. And with the 8th aspect, it is going to be looking at Saturn, which is already well placed over there in your 11th house. So for drive, for confidence, for chasing your goals, for anything to do with the professional goal setting, strategy making, chasing your goals, this could be a good transit for you. Only in the matters of the erratic response of your emotions, feeling insecure and getting into fights within the home front, or delays in the matters of real estate property might get experienced by lot many. If you're already going through the fears and insecurities, this could be because of Rahu, which is already transiting in your 1st house. The time when I'm uploading this video, Mercury is also retrograde. So I would say the recitation of Hanuman Chalisa, Bajrang Baan can be considered for all the Aries Lagna natives. Now guys, for all the Taurus Lagna natives, so guys, in your case, as you can see over here that Mars in your case has got the rulership over your 7th house and the 12th house, and it is going to be transiting to your 3rd house. Over there it is going to get debilitated as well. So guys, the good part over here is that somehow Mars is a Karaka significator of the 3rd house. In any case, Mars is a kind of a killer planet for you. So the overall alignment of Mars is not making you much vulnerable. The only thing is that specifically, like the way I already mentioned this thing. See, Cancer has got a lot to do with the being protective towards people around, specifically giving that emotional nourishment. And because Mars is involved over here, so I might or you might see lot many Taurus Lagna natives, you know, becoming a spokesperson for other people's problem, like trying to help other people's problem or intervening in other people's issue. Your intention might be good, but over there as well, I just want to say that there has to be healthy balance between not crossing the boundaries or not burning your own hands in order to intervene, intermediate or arbitrate other people's problem. That is the one thing which I want to say. Second thing is that guys, definitely Mars is kind of very strong, and with the way other planets are supporting you, your 10th house is in a strengthened state. Mars is going to be aspecting it as well. So overall guys, I'm not seeing you guys vulnerable, like rather I would say that drive, passion is going to be very strong during this time. And for the Taurus Lagna natives, it is going to be something like that, because I already mentioned this thing during the major portion of this transit of Mars in your 3rd house. Your ascendant lord is also going to be conjunct with it. First it's going to be conjunct till May 10th in your 2nd house. After that, after like May 30th, this conjunction is going to take place in your 3rd house. So I'm actually looking forward to Taurus Lagna natives being very passionate, being very driven, whatsoever you will initiate or in whichever domain you are going to be operating, you'll be putting your heart and soul into there, and nothing could be better than that. If you are a content creator, you are a designer, you have a travel and tour business, so things can work out in your favor. The only concern over here is that guys, in your case, because Mars has got the rulership over your 7th house of the commercial activities and 12th house of expenses, where Rahu is already transiting over there. And whenever we talk about people who in their lifetime face major issues on credit, on debts and loans and all of that, it is always because of the affliction to Mars. So during this time, even if you want to help someone or any of the concerns of borrowing of money, lending of money has to be done very carefully. Like rather I would say that even if you have to sign any document or something, or you have to, you know, help someone or become a guarantor of someone, so be very careful, very cautious while signing any documents during this time. Again guys, when it comes down to drive, your motivation, your passion, everything is going to be very well supportive for you. It's only like in the matters of financial aspect, specifically connected with your friends, your colleagues, your siblings. So over there you have to be cautious, you have to be careful. Now guys, for all the like Gemini Lagna natives, so guys, in your case, as you can see that although Mars is not a very auspicious planet for you, and it is going to be now finally transiting to your second house, where it is going to get debilitated as well. So guys, like the way I already mentioned this thing, that I do not see Mars in Cancer as a very weak or a kind of a placement which do not have any capacity to manifest good results. But these are certain lagnas and certain houses where the cautionary aspect kind of becomes very strong, which is actually getting applicable in your case. So Mars actually has got the rulership over your 6th house, which is the house of debts as well, 11th house of connection, of income, and it is getting debilitated in the 2nd house. That in itself is this indication that be very cautious for any of the major chunk of financial, like borrowing or lending of money, any of the concerns of credit. Like rather I would say guys that it's not a very good time for, like, even if you want to do something very big in the matter of your finances, specifically where risk is involved, too much of the uncertainty is involved, other person's word or reputation or his kind of influence is required, or major chunk of your saving and putting it into any venture is involved. Because guys, like the way I've been saying this thing repeatedly, the kind of yoga which you guys are going through right now, like it would be not very wise not to take steps, because your 11th house is in a strengthened state. Like Gemini Lagna natives are actually going through a very golden time of being a recipient of major opportunities and big deals, big sign up. But the role which suddenly now Mars is going to be playing, so I would say that do not take any major step on your financial goals or financial planning only on the word of some mediator or acquaintance. And also guys, even if you have to put your own saving, your major chunk of money, do that very cautiously, very carefully, have everything documented. All of that becomes very important. Also guys, because as you know that 2nd house also tells about our speech as well. 2nd house also tells about our immediate family environment as well. So over here guys, Mars, the houses which Mars rules, the way Rahu is influencing in your 11th house. So a lot many Gemini Lagna natives might be in a rush, they might be very impulsive, they might be very quick to come to any conclusion, very quick to react. And the response with this kind of placement might be very erratic as well. So do not hurt people around you with the wrong use of words. That is the only one thing which I want to say. The only good aspect of this transit of Mars is that it might make you very driven, very like, this is a kind of a typical yoga, because Rahu is already transiting in your 11th house. So a lot many Gemini Lagna natives might not be feeling very satisfied, very contented with the flow of income. So the surge of energy might drive you towards new avenues, but again, wheresoever the major chunk of finances are involved, take decisions carefully. And yes guys, even if you will look at from over here, because Mars is going to be aspecting your 8th house, your 9th house as well. So in certain cases, some connected to your business or connected to work, a lot many people might undertake some important travels as well, which will prove to be fruitful. So this is all what I can say for all the Gemini Lagna natives. Moving ahead guys, now for all the Cancer Lagna natives. So definitely guys, as you can see over here, that Mars is a Yogaraka planet for you guys, because of the rulership of one angular house and the trine house. And in the transit, Mars is going to be entering your 1st house, which is going to be a good yoga for a lot many Cancer Lagna natives. Guys, one thing I can say with confidence, that with this presence of Mars in your 1st house, on whatsoever days when Moon is going to be either getting exalted in the 11th house, or it is going to be conjunct with this Mars in your 1st house, those days could actually give you some sudden big opportunity as well, recognition as well. Now guys, definitely when we talk about whether you are a student, you have to write any competitive exam, or whether in your professional sphere you are in that crossroad, that you are anticipating some promotion, next level growth, you are applying for a job and all, or you have to give any important presentation, handle any important projects during this time, so things can work out in your favor. The only way I'm seeing you guys vulnerable is that, first of all guys, as you know that this is a kind of a typical transit where people are not able to respond their emotional outburst in a graceful way, like a lot many times, because Saturn is already transiting in your 8th house, Rahu is there in your 10th house. So this is a kind of a typical kind of combination where people respond in a very erratic way. So you might be very protective for your team, you might be very strengthened and very strongly rooted in your goals, in your projected plans, and everything is fine. The only thing and the only area where it is making you vulnerable is the inner turmoil, inner anguish, and not being able to vent out frustration, any resentment in a right way. So Mars in Cancer, a lot many times it does not hurt outside people as much as it hurts the native by himself, because of the too much of the self-afflicting thoughts and wrong channelization of the emotions. So that is the only area where I'm seeing you guys vulnerable. And definitely guys, it becomes very important, specifically in those cases where people are already working in a very fast-paced environment, where there is a lot of the multitasking is needed, or let's say for example you are a realtor by yourself. So all those Mars connected fields and profiles, and let's say for example, even if in your natal chart Mars is not very well placed, then this could actually create issues or concerns. But apart from that guys, in general, if your ongoing dashas are running favorable, planets in your natal chart are very well supported, specifically Mars, because Mars is your 10th house lord, then I would say that this transit will only have good things in store for you. Only in the matters of your emotions, your feelings, you have to be very cautious, you have to be very careful, because guys, from over here as well, with its 4th aspect, Mars is going to be looking at your 4th house. So as you know, just in order to protect people around you, you might become oversensitive, and Mars is going to be looking at your 7th house as well, and it's going to be aspecting the transiting Saturn in the 8th house. So all of that is making your emotions, degree and sense of insecurity, concern and well-being of your near and dear people, so being in a very sensitive mode. Like, you know, it's like the defensive reactions might be very strong. That is the one thing which I want to say. But again guys, regarding the professional sphere, and specifically on all those days where moon is going to be strengthened in the transit, that can actually bestow some opportunity. Mars in the 1st house will definitely increase, accentuate your leadership qualities for sure, and you will come across as someone who is very courageous, who's very confident, and who can be trusted upon for any important big responsibilities. Moving ahead guys, now for all the Leo Lagna natives. So definitely guys, in your case as well, Mars is your Yogaraka planet, and like the way guys, I already mentioned this thing at the beginning of this video, that I do not see Mars in the Cancer in a negative light, only if this is taking place in some sensitive houses, then it becomes kind of area of concern. So like the way in your case, definitely Mars has got the rulership over your 4th house and your 9th house, and it is somehow getting debilitated in the 12th house. So guys, this is a typical yoga where for the saints, for the rishi, for the yogis, this could be a time of spiritual bliss. But when we talk about in general, like anything to do with the important domestic life decision, anything to do with the immigration related concerns, or if you're gonna plan any of the travels, or let's say for example during this time you're thinking about shifting to a new place, or shifting to a new apartment, or switching to a new role at work front. So this is a kind of a typical alignment which can create lot of adjustments, lot of disharmony in your regular affairs. Like suddenly everything is getting affected and not able to handle that. So these are the only areas I would say that if you are gonna plan any of the important decision connected to the matters of your 4th house and the 9th house, take those decisions very carefully. Second thing is that guys, this is not a kind of a typical yoga where, see, anything where there's a lot of support of the luck is required. Now depending on your life, I do not know whether you are heavily invested in stock market, speculation, or while in your business dealings or business trips, there is a lot of the kind of leap of faith. which is involved. So with the ninth house being over there, the presence of Rahu influencing the planet of luck and fortune Jupiter over there, so we already have Guru Chandal Yoga in the ninth house of luck, and the ninth house lord is also now debilitated, a very sensitive vulnerable house. So my recommendation is that during this time, be very well prepared, very careful, and do not leave things, specifically while taking any important decision, on luck. That is one thing which I want to say. Second thing is that, guys, the kind of yoga which is now getting formed for the Leo Lagna, even if you are taking any advice, any guidance from someone, so be very careful, like what is the credibility of the person. Is this person actually guiding me in the right direction, or he has his own biased intentions around over there? So be very careful even while taking any advice during this time. That is the one thing which I want to say. Any of the immigration related documentation, if you have to do, if you have to file, do that very carefully. And yes, guys, overall, in your case, I do not have much good things to add. This is a typical yoga or a very supportive transit only for the people who are completely devoted and dedicated towards the spiritual attainment. But for the rest of the people, I would say be very careful when you drive, or if you have got a very hedonistic lifestyle, or because now summers are here, a lot many people go for camping or hiking and these things. So even if you have to undertake any of the adventure sports, adventure trip and all, so be cautious, be careful. That's all what I can say. And recitation of Hanuman Chalisa, Bajrang Ban will be very much saving grace for the Leo Lagna during this transit of Mars in your 12th house. Moving ahead, guys, now for all the Virgo Lagna natives. So guys, in your case, as you can see over here, that Mars is going to be transiting in your 11th house, and Mars, although it's not a very auspicious or favorable planet for you, so it is going to be getting debilitated in your 11th house. So guys, one thing is for sure, that during this time there might be some sudden unpredictable news which you might receive from your friends, because guys, in any case, your 8th house is right now is very accentuated. Saturn is also, and it's already transiting in your 6th house, so all of that is getting aligned in this direction only, that there could be some sudden abrupt changes in your career goals, life goals, the ideologies, the philosophy you have strong faith in, or the people you are very strongly closely associated with. So guys, one thing which I want to say, that because Virgo, when we talk about Virgo, these are the most brainy people of the whole zodiac belt. These guys are very perfectionist, they are very hardworking, they are very tech savvy. So I'm very much sure that unless and until in your natal chart your ascendant lord Mercury is not afflicted, Saturn is not afflicted, so I'm very much sure that no matter how circumstances and situations are gonna erupt in your surrounding environment, for which transit is always responsible, I'm sure you'll be able to handle it in a very kind of wise way. But the way transiting planets are influencing you, this is a kind of a typical energy where there will be a lot of abrupt changes in your path, in your smooth flow of the kind of goals which you are currently chasing, and in the income as well, guys, because 11th house also tells about our income as well. So over here as well, I would say that, let's say for example, if you are about to get into any of the partnership nature of work, or in your line of work, like specifically public dealing, or lot of the promotion, marketing, social media is involved, so do that very carefully. This is a kind of a typical yoga where if you experiment on your brand line, on your projected market image or value, so people might not perceive it in a right way. So pertaining to the matters of the 11th house, where we talk about friendship, your goals, your income, your plans, so I would say that this combination, because it's not only the Mars which is getting debilitated in the 11th house, which is not a favorable planet already for you, but the way your ascendant lord is behaving, Rahu is there in the 8th house, and even the houses which Mars is aspecting, it is going to be aspecting your your 2nd house, which is the house of your finances, your speech. It is going to be looking at your 5th house, which is the house of your intellect, which is the house of your speculative interest, and the where Saturn is already transiting. So yes, guys, that is all what I can say specific to your income, your projected plans, your goals, and all of that. Do not make any abrupt changes. This is a kind of a typical transit where suddenly you might start finding faults or seeing or nitpicking people around you. So do not behave like that, and I would say that that is the only way it is going to be making you prone or vulnerable. And lot many times what happen is that because Mars is there in the Cancer, so let's say for example, if in the past people have not treated you well, so this is a kind of a typical yoga where the inner resentment suddenly get out in a very erratic way. So just manage your relationship if you already know that you do not get good vibes from those specific people. So during this time, and specifically when moon is also afflicted in the transit, like let's say for example, with this presence of Mars in the 11th house, when moon is the days when moon is already going to be transiting from your 8th house or your 6th house, so you know that energies are very sensitive around you. And if you are already going to meet someone or confront someone from whom you do not get good vibes, you already had a bad blood or bad history with that person, it is only going to end up ugly. So be very careful, be very cautious. That is all what I can say for all the Virgo Lagna natives. But yes guys, when we talk about people who are connected with social media marketing, and specifically when we talk about all those line of work where sensationalize journalism, creating, stirring up a controversy, so those people can still get benefited. But in general, this is a time of keeping it low, being on a back foot, and being very careful the kind of message you are giving to people around you through your body language or through your words. Moving ahead guys, now for the Libra Lagna, which is my favorite ascendant. So guys, in your case, as you can see that Mars has got the rulership over your 2nd house and your 7th house, becoming a killer planet, and it is going to be getting debilitated in the 10th house. Now guys, like the way I have already mentioned this thing throughout in this video, that there are certain houses and certain Lagnas where we have to take into consideration the role which Mars plays for that Lagna, in which house it is getting debilitated. So when we talk about 10th house, so planets like Mars, Saturn, Sun, they manifest some very good results. And as you can see that even from over here, Mars is giving its 4th aspect to your Lagna, so it will definitely make you very protective towards the projects you are handling, or the ideologies or views you hold. If you are in any of the public seat, so it will make you very ferocious speaker as well. And also guys, it is going to be giving its straight aspect to your 4th house and its 8th aspect to your 5th house. So overall guys, it is definitely going to be putting you in a position of power where you will very ferociously, very strongly defend yourself, or defend the cause, or defend the project which you might be heading. Now guys, as you can see, the only concern over here is that because Mars has got the rulership over the 7th house where Rahu is already transiting, so one thing is for sure that this is not a very good time for deliberately picking up fights or getting into conflicts or stirring up unnecessary controversy. So if your approach and your mindset is of that, then this could be a troubled transit for you. Second thing is that, as you know that guys, whenever we talk about Mars in the Cancer, everything comes down to the erratic response of our emotions. You are not able to vent out your frustrations in a right way. And the only concern over here is that if during this time specifically you will behave like this, if you will behave erratic like this, you will definitely gain lot many enemies. Like enemy is a very hard word to use. I mean to say, they might start disliking you. Like if you are in a position of power, it might be happening behind your back, or if you are a regular guy, they might be kind of not very friendly, not being very nice to you because of your own created outburst and all. So that is the only reason guys, because 7th house, 10th house, somehow they entails our public dealing as well, our commercial activities as well. So in these areas you have to remain cautious, you have to remain careful. Apart from that guys, like the way I have already mentioned this thing, that if you are in that line of work where there is a lot of muscle which is required, lot of pressure, multitasking, you are a lawyer, or you are right now working in a position where there's a lot of pressure on you, and how to handle tame that pressure and then perform your job with complete perfection, so then this is going to be a very supporting transit for you. Because guys, you know that wherever Mars is transiting, our energy, our drive is going in that house. So that in itself means that all of your energies are now concentrated in the 10th house of your public image, of your outdoor activities. The only thing is that guys, over here again I will say the same thing. If you are in a business and during this time you are planning to put a major chunk of money for those ventures where you are experimenting with something new, so this is not a good time for that. It's a strict no for that, because as you can see that 7th house Rahu is already there, 2nd house Lord getting debilitated in the 10th house. So it is better for people who are already in a very smooth existing business or a smooth flow of business, or even you are in any top leadership role or anything where there's a lot of arbitration, a lot of fights, a lot of muscle is required, then this is a good transit for you. But venturing out into something new, putting major chunk of your money in some new business or in some new business idea, or thinking about or executing some new business plan where there's a lot of the financial monetary transaction is involved, for that it is not a very good energy for that. So yes guys, this is all what I can say. One thing which I am highlighting more on that, do not unnecessary offend people with the erratic response of your emotions, but only if you are gonna drive your energies in a right way. This is a transit which is definitely going to give you a lot of power, a lot of energies for doing your job. That is all what I can say for all the Libra Lagna natives. Now guys, for all the Scorpio Lagna natives, so definitely guys, in your case now things are getting a little bit better, because before that, with this whole concentration of the planets in your 6th house, and your ascendant Lord was also in the 8th house. So trust me, count your blessings. If during this time you did not end up in any court case, any of the very abrupt change in your line of work, or any of the accident and cuts and injuries, so if that did not happen, you should count your blessings, because the way this yoga was formed for you guys. So I will not be surprised if someone with a Scorpio Lagna will tell this ordeal that you have encountered all of that when Mars was there in your 8th house, in combination with the way whole planets were behaving. Now guys, as you can see that whether in the natal chart or whether in the transit, for the Scorpio Lagna natives, the good part over here is that your ascendant Lord is or does not see Lord of the Cancer, which is Moon, as its enemy. It rather see it as its good friend, and lot many people have got misinterpretation over there. At the end of the day, in your case, Moon has got the rulership of over the one of the important trine houses. So that means that in the Scorpio Lagna's case, I have seen lot many charts. In their case, Mars was there in the 9th house, being a Scorpio Lagna, and Moon is exalted in the 7th house. Mars is well placed in the D9 chart, creating a Raj Yoga of the highest form. So the only thing which I want to say over here is that, trust me guys, all the vulnerability which were looming over your head when your ascendant Lord was in the 8th house, they are definitely gonna dissipate. But again guys, till the time, even when Mars is there in the 9th house, taking those important steps only relying on the luck is not something which I will recommend. During this time, any of the religious austerities done by you can actually generate some very good results. Unconditional surrender to the God and the divine is required out of all of your actions. And I would also say that any of the advice from your guru, from your mentors and from your teachers might also put you on the right path. The only thing is that guys, because in your case, the 6th house Lord's energy is again going there in the 9th house. So I would say that specifically in the matters of credit and loans, lending, borrowing, or any of the major chunk of money, over there you have to remain cautious and careful. And the way guys this whole transit is influencing you, and why I said about the credit and loans related concerns, because the 6th house is being like Rahu is already being over there, and 6th house Lord is kind of debilitated in the 9th house as per the classical astrology principles. And even from over here, even Mars gives its fourth aspect to your 12th house as well. So specifically in the matters of the credit or major financial borrowing and all, you have to be cautious, you have to be careful. But when we talk about all the vulnerability which were troubling you from the past couple of weeks, all of that is gonna come to an end. You will again get awakened. You will find the direction which you might have been lacking. If from the past couple of weeks there have been some issues of getting into arguments with people, feeling very insecurity, and lot of inner emotional turmoil, depression, obsession, confusion, going back and forth in your decision making. So all of that is gonna come to an end for sure. And yes guys, for the Scorpio Lagna, the worship of Lord Hanuman can actually bring miracles in your case. More than anything, it will not only keep you well protected, but keep you firm in your life's goal and life's purpose as well. So yes guys, and beyond doubt, if during this time you have to write any competitive exam, any of the important travel, if you will undertake, that will prove to be very favorable for you. And guys, specifically the days when the transiting moon is going to be exalted in the 7th house, or it is going to be conjunct with this Mars in the 9th house, those days can actually bestow some big opportunity, sudden opportunity. So that can be foreseen with the way Mars is behaving right now in the transit for you guys. Now guys, for all the Sagittarius Lagna, so guys, in your case, as you can see that definitely Mars is a very auspicious planet for you, and it has got the rulership over your 12th house, 5th house, and it is now getting debilitated in the 8th house. So again guys, like the way I mentioned this thing before as well, that I do not see Mars in the Cancer as a weak and cautionary thing for everyone. It's only for the certain Lagnas where it becomes kind of more cautionary thing. So guys, as you can see that Mars being debilitated in the 8th house, so that in itself means that during this time, if in your line of work too much of the use of sharp edged tools is required, you have to remain very cautious, very careful. If you do not follow proper guidelines when you drive, like this could be driving a car or driving a motorbike or something, you have to be very cautious, you have to be very careful. And again guys, a lot is dependent on what kind of dashas are currently active right now in your case. Like if you are actually going through the dasha of the Saturn, or you're going through the dasha of the Venus, or Mars is also active, then it becomes more important for you how you protect yourself, or try not to be very careless while driving or while handling any sharp edged tools. Second thing is that guys, because in your case, as you can see that Mars has got the 5th house rulership as well, and it is getting debilitated in the 8th house. So guys, this is a typical yoga where too much of the negative talks or self-afflicting thoughts or very passive aggressive thoughts might trouble lot many Sagittarius Lagna natives. And guys, as you know that the way Saturn is also influencing you right now, so I would say that whatsoever you will behave, you will commit, you will do during this time, the repercussions of that might bother you for a long span of time. So my recommendation is that just a lot of the mindfulness, positive thinking is required. So a lot of the problem of PTSD and all these generally comes and bothers the overthinkers more. Only when you are repeatedly thinking and going over and over again that things become worsen for someone. So I would say that if that is what your gray area is, overthinking, obsessiveness, and also recitation of the mantra, or I would say Hanuman Chalisa, doing Sundarakand on Tuesdays and Saturdays, getting the chola done in any of the Lord Hanuman's temple, so all of that can be considered. Guys, all those people who have to write any important exam, this is a very cautionary sign. I'm not seeing a very positive indication for you guys. In 5th house, Rahu is there distracting you, and 5th house Lord is debilitated. So that means whether in the form of indulging in any major investments, any of the speculative interest, or even for the students, you have to remain very cautious, very careful. Even for all those people who are in any loving relationship, this is a typical yoga where suddenly your partner might start behaving in a very erratic way. And again guys, that is the only reason. I wish I knew astrology when I was of those teenage years and adolescent days and all. So now, because you know astrology, you follow astrology, so you know that why suddenly my partner is behaving in a very unpredictable way, why suddenly my partner is on a vengeance against me. So this could be because of the way planets are behaving right now in the transit. So I would say that take a chill pill, be relaxed, do not respond see, when you know that the person in front of you is behaving very aggressive, so if you will gonna behave in a similar pitch, in a similar way, you will just add more fuel to the fire. So handle all these fifth house related situations gracefully. Now this is equally getting applicable for all those people who are in loving relationship. You are like a post-grad student, or you are in your early 20s, you are dating someone, or this could be the case that you are already having difficulty dealing with your rebellious teenage children. So being a parent as well, this is a time when the children might start giving you a hard time. So handle things gracefully, that is all what I can say. And Lord Hanuman is the right way, or the worship of Lord Hanuman is the right way of handling any of the energy of an afflicted Mars. Now guys, for all the Capricorn Lagna natives, so guys, in your case, as you can see that Mars has got the rulership over your 11th house and the 4th house, and it is going to be getting debilitated in the 7th house. So guys, one thing is for sure, that as you know that Mars is not a favorable planet for any of the concerns of harmony in the relationship connected to the living signification of that house, and now it is getting debilitated as well. So this is the kind of a typical yoga where this can create some abruption in the marriage, within the relationship. Your partner is suddenly responding in a very erratic way while talking on any of the sensitive matters. So definitely guys, whether in the business partnership, whether in the existing relationship, or even because 7th house also tells about your dealing with the public as well. So if you are holding up any of the public seat, so any of the outburst given by you might kind of create controversy, straight up controversy, because Rahu is already conjunct with Jupiter over there in your 4th house as well. So because of that guys, any of the outburst, any of the public dealing needs to be done in a very graceful way. Second thing is that guys, okay, if in your existing your natal chart the yogas are strong and the positive planets are active right now in the dasha as well, like for example you are also going through the mahadasha of your ascendant lord, or let's say for example you are going through the dasha of your yogakaraka planet, which is Venus. In the antardasha it is on. So I would say that things are not gonna go as bad as for you. The only way it is creating a vulnerability is in the matters of the 7th house, or the living signification of the 7th house. But again guys, 7th house also tells about the commercial activities as well. So during this time, specifically on the days when moon in the transit is either going to be getting exalted in the 5th house, or it is going to be getting conjunct with Mars in your 7th house, it can actually bestow some sudden opportunity as well. And during this time guys, many times what happen is that because it's the 11th house energy which is also coming in the 7th house, so do not pay much heed or attention to what other people think about your relationship, because this is a typical yoga where the external influence of people, of friends might not be very healthy in the sanctity of your relationship, in the harmony of your relationship. So yes guys, this is all what I can say. I'm only seeing you guys vulnerable in the matters of the living signification of the 7th house, but when we talk about the commercial activities, I'm not seeing you guys any vulnerable, because guys, as you know that Mars is a planet of energy. Wheresoever it goes in the transit, our drive, our energy, our focus goes in the matters of that house. So Mars being in the 7th house, that in itself means that finally Mars is out of your 6th house. So if you have been subjected to any of the conflicts within your daily work environment, or let's say for example you got into any of the lawsuit or court related situation and all, so now things will start working out in your favor. So if you have been subjected to any of the arguments, betrayal or disappointments in the past, specifically in your daily work life or with your colleagues and all, so things are now gonna take a positive leap or positive turn for you for sure. So a very good time for the fulfillment or execution of your plans. The only way it is making vulnerable is how you deal with your partner within the matrimonial life. That is the only one thing which I want to say. And also guys, because the 4th house lord is getting debilitated in the 7th house, Rahu is already being placed over there. So any of the credit or loan specifically for the housing related concerns and all has to be done very carefully. Like you might either overspend, or there might be some issues in the documentation. So that is the only reason any of the housing or domestic life related or connected loans, credit or expense needs to be handled very carefully during this time. And this is also typical yoga, guys, where I have also seen that specifically people who are in joint family. So I already mentioned that whether the joint family or whether the influence of the friends or people around you, they might also not play a very healthy role in the harmony of the relationship. So manage everything carefully. Now guys, for all the Aquarius Lagna natives, so guys, in your case, as you can see that Mars is going to be debilitated in your 6th house. I already mentioned this thing, that Mars in the Cancer for certain lagnas in certain houses still hold this capacity to bestow good results, but the role which Mars plays for your lagna and the house where it is getting debilitated, it's a very sensitive energy. So yes guys, to begin with, any of the matter of borrowing or lending or credit related issues or concerns has to be dealt very carefully. Second thing is that guys, it's your 10th house lord which is getting debilitated in the 6th house, and Mars has also got the rulership over your 3rd house as well, where Rahu is already transiting over there. So that in itself tells about that any of the rash decision taken by you might land you in trouble. So a lot many times what happen is that, like, we just try to take a chance, or you are an entrepreneur, so this yoga is gonna influence those entrepreneurs and self-employed people more. So if you took any decision in a haste without getting into the pros and cons, without doing a proper research or proper homework of yours, this can actually land you in some, regretting later on that why did I take that initiative, why did I invested in that those people or those project or those ideas. So execution specifically, this is a very sensitive time for ideation, for strategy, for planning. This could be a good transit for you, but while executing you have to, or while implementing those ideas or those projected plans of yours, you have to be very cautious, you have to be very careful. So yes guys, this is how this transit is going to be turning out. Like specifically when we talk about the 10th house lord is there in the 6th house, that in itself is a energy where somehow the attention of your bosses comes to you, comes to your work ethics. And as you can see that Mars is getting debilitated over there, so let's say for example if you have not done your job right, so you might become subjected to the agony or of pressure of the bosses at work front as well. So my recommendation is that do your job in a correct way. If you have already done something wrong or you have already created some mess at your work front, so in the next couple of days try to do the damage control, because once Mars is going to enter your 6th house, a lot of the attention, scrutiny of your bosses might be coming to you. And as you know, that's a planet of Mars, so that means nitpicking or finding faults, taking out and the blame game. So all those things can start again guys. There are certain professions where you flourish, you thrive on the problems of other people, like you are a lawyer, you are a doctor, so those people can still get benefited. If in your natal chart you are going through some good dashas, then all those people can still get benefited. And also guys, because as you can see that Mercury is also right now in an afflicted state, so if in your line of work your maternal uncles have got a very strong say, so then you have to be additionally cautious and careful. And if you are already working in the domain of the 6th house, where we talk about health industry, restaurant, food industry and all, so aviation industry, so during this time do your job in a correct way. And Mars being debilitated in the 6th house, 4th house, 8th house, 12th house is never a good energy to initiate fight, pick up fights or confront and argue. So the more you will take a diplomatic approach, the better it is going to be working out for you. And lastly guys, for all the Pisces Lagna natives, so guys, in your case, as you can see that Mars has got the rulership over your 2nd house and the 9th house, being a very favorable auspicious planet, and it is going to be getting debilitated in the 5th house. So again guys, I already mentioned this thing, it all comes down to that what role that planet is playing and in which house. Even if it is getting debilitated, it is getting debilitated for that lagna. So guys, it is there in your 5th house. So one thing is for sure that first of all, when we talk about anything to do with the art, entertainment, creativity, this could be a good transit for you. Because guys, when we talk about the water signs, so Mars in the Cancer has everything to do with being very firm, strong tenaciousness, steadfastness in your ideologies, in your belief, in your opinions, in your views. And definitely fifth house is a chief house of our new ideas, of art, of creativity. So if you are heavily invested, like this is a time when you're about to finish a book which you have been writing for long, or you have to publish something, or suddenly you are being invited to any of the podcast, or you have to give any performances and all. So you will be able to put forth your full energy and you will get benefited out of that. The only way, guys, it is making you vulnerable is that, first of all, when we talk about the any of the major financial investments, it's a very cautionary sign. In your second house, Rahu is already transiting over there. Second house Lord is getting debilitated in the fifth house. So this is a typical yoga where when people put major chunk of money in any investments and they end up incurring heavy losses. So guys, my recommendation is that the way things are moving, just keep on following the same pattern. Do not experiment with something new. Do not try to venture out into something which is not your area of expertise. That is the only one thing which I want to say. But yes, guys, specifically for the teachers, for the trainers, like these days so-called YouTube tutorial creators and all, who are running different, who are expert in any specific field. So this could be a good transit. The only thing is that, guys, because fifth house also tells about our children as well. This is also the house of our romance, of our relationship as well. So over there could be some misunderstanding, specifically for the couples, and also for the students as well, guys. You have to work very hard. Rahu and Jupiter there in your second house. So Jupiter, Mercury are very important for the students, and Rahu is influencing your second house. So there is definitely a lot of distractions all around you. And with this second house Lord getting debilitated in the fifth house, so that in itself means that, I already mentioned, for the teachers and trainers and the creators, this could be a good time. But the students who have to write any important competitive exam, so do your preparation, do your job carefully. And any of the major investments, venturing out into something new, putting major chunk of money, it's a strict no, or do that very carefully till the time Mars is there in your fifth house. And a very good time for the artist, creative people. So yes, guys, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Dhanyavad.